we are live at the Hive on a wet and windy Sunday afternoon for WSL action between Spurs and Manchester City. Now Spurs are fourth in the table, City are fifth, and both are in the hunt for that elusive top three finish to guarantee European football next season. All 3 points will be vital for whoever comes out on top today.
Here they come, and they've scored! Wow, Rachel Williams!
Tottenham are filling their boots. Spurs go marching on.
It's an inviting ball and it's forced in by Bonnie Shaw. Manchester City make their move.
Pinpoint delivery. On is there, Lauren Hemp.
It's Horton, and it is 4.
She might go for it here, and it's brilliant again!
Check.
Tottenham arrive into today's game following a 0-0 draw away to Reading last Sunday. Rhian Skinner's side are currently 3 points behind Manchester United, who beat Reading 3-1 yesterday. A win here today would take Spurs level on points with the Red Devils and firmly in contention for a Champions League spot. Manchester City will be full of confidence, having defeated Chelsea for the first time in a final to take home the League Cup trophy last Saturday. Gareth Taylor's side have only lost once since the turn of the year and are hot on the heels of the WSL's leading pack with 2 games in hand on league leaders Arsenal. It is Tottenham versus Manchester City in the Barclays Women's Super League. Kick-off here at the Hive is in just over 10 minutes' time. Hello there, it is a pleasure to have your company. I've got England's most capped player, the former midfielder, Farrah Williams with me, and Jenna Schillaci, of course, former defender who captained Tottenham to 3 successive promotions all the way up to the WSL. I hope you guys can hear me because the PA is on here. It's wet, it's windy, we're all trying to stay undercover, but we're going to do our best to bring you this game. We're going to talk about this game, actually, Spurs against City, in just a moment, but we're actually going to start with the big news, of course, which rocked the football world this week, and that is the news of the UK government imposing sanctions on Chelsea Football Club and their owner, Roman Abramovich, of course, because of his ties to Vladimir Putin in Russia and, of course, the ongoing war in Ukraine as well. There have been some far-reaching decisions that have been made and some far-reaching consequences. Just over the weekend itself, Roman Abramovich was disqualified as a director of Chelsea by the Premier League board. The credit cards for the club were frozen as well. But in terms of what it means on the pitch, well, this is a list of what isn't allowed, as you can see at the moment. Now, ticket sales, home and away games, they have now been prohibited, although season tickets are still valid. No sales of merchandise are allowed at all. No transfers or contract renewals. Clubs aren't allowed to spend more than £20,000 on away travel, which could have consequences for the men's team, particularly in the Champions League. And no building work is allowed to be carried out at Stamford Bridge either. Okay, well, both sides, since that news was broken, actually, both sides have been in action on the pitch. Chelsea women, Emma Hayes' side, they beat West Ham 4-1 in midweek. Pernilla Harder with a couple of goals. But Farrah, I want to start with you. I mean, look, this is something that's unprecedented. We've never seen this in football before, and there is so much uncertainty surrounding this club. Can that seep into the minds of the players as they go on? I know you footballers are great at compartmentalising and blocking out the noise, but do you think in time that the longer this carries on, that could actually have an impact on the pitch?
I definitely think the longer it goes on, I think the more uncertainty within the team, within the club. I think the players start to talk about it. They start to doubt what the club are actually doing. I said, but what they do have in Emma Hayes is a fantastic manager, a very calm, an honest manager, and I think she'll be being honest with her players throughout the whole process of what's going on. And I think that's all you can do as a manager: keep your players calm, which is what she will do. And the performance they had midweek against West Ham was fantastic. So she'll be pleased with that, and I'm sure to be focused again today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you say, the questions have been directed at both managers, Thomas Tuchel and actually Emma Hayes, and also managers of all other clubs as well. But we did hear from Emma Hayes in midweek. This is what she had to say.
I think it's important that we give it time. The club's put a statement out. I understand the club are working with the government to dissect the interpretation of that. So I think for all the questions everybody has, players, fans, staff, we have to give the club time to work through that. You know, I'm a leader of this team, and we're going to have to navigate a difficult period, and one where I don't have all the answers for it, but I certainly have an amazing dressing room and amazing fans and amazing employees at the club that deserve the very best from us.
Yeah, well, Emma Hayes certainly someone you want in charge at a time like this, and Chelsea are in action against Aston Villa later on this afternoon. Jenna, I want to ask you about today's game because that is our focus today. Of course, Tottenham beat Manchester City in the reverse fixture earlier on in September, but given the long list of injuries that City had at that time and how they've turned their fortunes around, do you think they'll be facing a very different side this time around?
Yeah, absolutely. I think now you've got a Man City team that have found their form, key players back in the squad, and you know they're full of confidence after the victory over Chelsea at the weekend. So it's going to be a completely different game. I think it's going to be a tough afternoon for Tottenham if they're to keep their unbeaten run here at home.
OK, well, let's hear what both managers have had to say. We will be hearing from Gareth Taylor at Manchester City, but we'll start with Rhiann Skinner, who's been speaking to Betty Glover.
You've proven earlier in the season that you can beat City. What sort of challenge are you expecting from them today?
Well, they're a team in form, and obviously they've got a lot of experienced internationals, City, and so we fully expect that it's going to be a tough game. I think the biggest thing for us is that we're ready for a challenge, and that's what you want within these games. So you want to make sure that you're obviously in a position to compete with them, and we are. We've worked really hard all season, and we want to try and keep moving ourselves forward and the platform that we're trying to create.
Gareth, hello. Firstly, this is your first game after the Conti Cup, lifting the Conti Cup. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Yeah, pretty good. I think it seems a long time ago now. We've had a nice week build up to it, where we've been able to get some good training load into the players, and try and realign the focus, which I think is important. I think it's important that we recognise what we've been doing well recently, and trying to maintain that and push on in other areas where we need to grow also.
Manchester City strikers will have their eye on Shalina Zadorsky. She'll be captaining the side. She's a defender, of course. She's obviously a Olympic champion as well with Canada. She caught up with Carolyn Demores in the week.
If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, how would you describe yourself?
Compassionate, competitive, bright.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like to bring good energy, yeah.
You bring good energy, I agree with
good.
you. You've played in so many different parts of the world. How does the WSL compare to some of the other leagues?
Favorite league to play in. Right now, I think, this is quickly becoming, if not, one of the best leagues. It goes to show just how many versatile players we have here, how many internationals we have, how many, English stars we have, and just the variety of players on each team.
Zadorsky with the tap in.
I love London. The city has so much to offer in terms of sightseeing, the history. I'm blown away by the architecture and all it has to offer. I'm really enjoying it.
6 months after your arrival that you were named captain, how has it felt leading this group of women?
It's an absolute honor to be in a leadership role. I've developed such a great relationship with the staff, with Rhiann, and what she's brought in as her vision for the squad, and I think we're aligned in many ways, and that's why it was an easy transition to be named captain, because we have so many natural leaders. A big part of my job is helping our team keep clean sheets. That's something I want to focus on. So I think across these next games, it's how defensively strong can I help the team be, can I be, to limit the chances other teams have.
4th in the table, has it given the team confidence to have exceeded some expectations?
We've shown in tough games how we can get results, and we've just kept chipping away game by game. And obviously the goal is to finish as high as we can, but I think what's great about the team is we don't focus on, the future. We focus on now, what we can do to affect the next game.
And it's forced in by Bunny Shaw.
Your opponents, the Manchester City, they're looking so strong. How do you approach a team like them?
I think as a centre back, I need to be switched on at all times to defend. And we know against some of the very top teams, maybe we won't have the ball quite as much as we want. We set up a game plan to defend well, but also, we're quick on the counter. We have speed, we have aggressiveness, and we need to use that and really take care of the ball when we do get it.
Yeah, a lot of confidence in that Tottenham side, epitomised by their captain, Shalina Zadorsky, and obviously, someone who's in that back line with her is Molly Bartra, someone very important today as well, Jenna.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the pair of them have been key to Tottenham's success. I think from the back, the resilience, they're hard to break down, and they've brought organisation and discipline that we've lacked in previous seasons. I think, with Molly, she's an experienced defender. She reads the game so well, and going forward, she can also is an asset. She's got her distribution is on point and sets the team afront. So yeah, the defensive pairing has been excellent, and as I said, it's credit to them. A big part of why Tottenham is so successful this season is down to their solidness in defence.
Yeah. And of course, and looking ahead to Manchester City, of course, you want to take a closer look at Caroline Wheeler. She's a complete stalwart. We all know her so well. But it's particularly her positioning on goal that's impressed you, Farah.
Yeah, I just think it's her timing into the box. We've just seen 2 clips there where she arrives late into the box and times her run well to get a finish. And you can see here when she is in the box, she's able to just create a little bit of space to get her shot away. But this is what Caroline, it's her awareness when she's in these type of positions. The audacity to chip the keeper from this distance. It just shows the calibre of player that she is, and I think since she's worked her way back into the team, it's no coincidence that Manchester City have got momentum and started to score goals.
Yeah, and in terms of the game here, the conditions aren't great for a game of football, but how do you see this one playing out, Jenna?
It's a massive match for both teams. I think they've obviously both got their eye on that third spot, and I think Tottenham, I can see them sitting back and expecting not to have a lot of the ball and hoping to hit them on the counter, but it's going to be a very good match. I think it's going to Man City are firing on all cylinders today, so it's going to be an interesting match.
Very interesting match indeed. Yeah, it is. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City at the Hive. As Jenna rightly said, both sides have their eyes on a top 3 finish, which would of course mean European football next season. So as the players take their place on the pitch, it's time to hand you over to our commentary team today, the former England and Everton goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis, who's alongside Pete Mullenstein.
Thank you very much, Reshman. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, after a sloppy start to the season, Manchester City re-energised, refocused and refuelled, and they will be full of confidence after ending Chelsea's domestic dominance in a big League Cup final as well. Standing in their way, though, a Tottenham side who have more than had their fair share of success this season. The hosts have lost just 3 of their 15 Women's Super League games and currently find themselves battling it out for the league's 3rd and final European qualification spot. Well, after securing their first win against Manchester City in the reverse fixture this season, Spurs looking to try and do the league double over the visitors today. Let's have a look at the 2 teams then. Rhian Skinner names 2 changes to her side who were held to a goalless draw at Reading last weekend. Rebecca Spencer replaces Tina-Rika Corpella, who drops to the bench, while So-Yun Cho replaces Asmita Ale, who also makes the Spurs bench. Rachel Williams has scored 4 WSL goals against Manchester City. No player has ever scored more times against City in the competition. As for the visitors then, Manchester City, Gareth Taylor was full of praise of his side after they fought back to beat Chelsea in the League Cup finals, rewarded and named exactly the same team who lifted the cup at the weekend. Ellie Riobuck has bounced back since her injury, starts her 7th game in a row since then. Lucy Bronze recently made it 100 appearances for the Blues. Well, delighted to be joined by Rachel Brown-Finnis, and it's going to be quite the game, isn't it, today for Tottenham Hotspur, who've had fantastic form in the WSL recently, but they're up against a Manchester City side who are really about to go on a great bit of momentum, aren't they?
You're right. Manchester City, after the League Cup final, Conti Cup final win against Chelsea last week, just proved really where they are on this, riding this crest of a wave with regards to momentum, performances, in complete contrast to the first half of the season, which is in no way it's no coincidence compared to the 8 or 9 first-team players they had out in that first half of the season when they did come unstuck against Spurs at home. So they'll want retribution. They'll want to get back against Spurs and continue with this fantastic form here at the Hive.
We're almost ready to get underway. The referee this afternoon, Emily Heaslip. And Rachel Williams, one of the players who's got fantastic stats against Manchester City. No player has ever scored more times against the Blues in the competition. As the players take the knee, which is welcomed with a warm applause around the Hive Stadium. Well, it'll be Tottenham who get us underway. The hosts looking to continue their inspired form in the league this season and create a bit of distance between themselves and their opponents today. Rachel, Tottenham, of course, will be hoping they can continue that winning run that they've got on so far, their unbeaten run as well. They won against Manchester City in the reverse fixture. They'll be hoping to do the same again, but it will be a tough ask against a Manchester City team full of confidence after the weekend.
I think at the forefront of their thoughts will be to be hard to be broken down rather than wanting to win the game initially. Of course, Rhian Skinner will want to come out with 3 points at the end of it, but she knows and her team know that Manchester City are going to start on the front foot and will ultimately, I believe, have the majority of the possession, because that's what City do against teams when they're in this real rich vein of form.
Well, here's Greenwood. Manchester City able to lift another trophy at the weekend, and exactly the same team that played at the weekend against Chelsea were able to fight back after going a goal down. Start against this Spurs team.
I was looking at the warm-up and just looking at Becky Spencer there receiving the ball. Those 6-yard areas are very difficult for goalkeepers. Well, the Manchester City like to play out the back. Will they do this under the conditions that this pitch has thrown up? Looks pretty churned up, it's pretty bobbly in areas. I wouldn't certainly, as a former goalkeeper, be messing around with it in my 6-yard box.
Neville. Back to Percival. Percival is the player who's gone into that right-back position, sticks to that right-back position. We weren't sure really, were we, whether Ashley Neville was going to go there, but it seems that Ashley Neville playing a little bit higher up and Percival in that right-back position.
Naturally, Ashley Neville is a right-back for what she's played for Spurs, but she started a career as a striker, is very prominent and can attack. Scored 2 goals in her last 2 games in that higher position, so I'm sure there'll be at times when the two switch.
Stanway back to Bronze. Caroline Witt, one of the players who got the 2 goals in that cup win at the weekend. Well, Manchester City will be looking for a little bit of revenge from the reverse fixture, which Tottenham won 2-1. Neville looking to go back, but it was Lauren Hemp who got in the way.
You can see on this near side how bare the grass is. And Ashley Neville's first touch there just bounced off her.
How difficult is that as a goalkeeper, Rachel, to have to deal with it when the surface is like this?
It's difficult, but you've got to adapt. So you've got half an hour, 45 minutes in the warm-up. You read every scenario, you play through every scenario that you could face in the match, and you make a decision based on the playing surface as to what the likelihood is of what you would like to do. And having looked at what Ellie Robert was doing and Rebecca Spencer in the respective goals, looks like they're going to continue to try and play short.
Walsh was looking for that long ball forward, but it was intercepted.
Like how Spurs have set up the 4-5-1 pretty much went out of possession, and Ashley Neville dropping a little bit deep to be flat, compact in the middle. Cho sits in to be flat as well in the midfield, out of possession.
Well, ball taken away from them. And now Stanway looking to come forward. Here's Lauren Hemp as well. She's got options arriving in the area too. Ellen White is one of the players who's waiting to get on this. Caroline Weir's there also. Looking to go right at the far post for Rasso. Couldn't quite get that because Harrop got there first.
Yeah, good defending there from Keris Harrop. Stood it up well, Lauren Hemp. Beat Rhea Percival for pace. Stood it up at the back post. That's what Lauren Hemp will do all game.
And here she is again. Gets away from Neville, who actually was able to get a little interception in and out. Williams can try and get away. It's going to be difficult for her though. She had quite a few blue shirts surrounding her.
Did fantastic well there, Rich Williams, to keep possession of the ball for a team.
Williams back to Neville. And Samanen looking to be in. It was a decent chance there for Spurs to try and open the scoring, but Ellie Roebuck right into it.
Yeah, Ellie Roebuck on a front foot, ready to receive that through ball. Lovely run from Samanen this time. The more attacking player, Cho sat in and covered her run. But lovely ball from Ashley Neville from this right-hand side, left foot into the path of Samanen.
Ellie Roebuck recently back in the Manchester City squad after missing quite a few games at the start of the season. Of course, quite an injury-hit Manchester City squad, really. They had to deal with at the start of the Women's Super League season, getting almost back to a fully fit squad.
Yeah, the goalkeeping situation was particularly tricky for them to navigate. Karen Bardsley, long-standing number one in previous years, has been out for a long time, unavailable. Ellie Roebuck out. Then Benamure came in and started for a number of games. Then she was out. Arguably she was the third goalkeeper. So young Kiara Keating, 17-year-old, came in and deputised. So they managed the situation. And now they got their number one back.
Rasso trying to keep that ball in play. Couldn't quite hold on to it though.
See the long studs there of Rasso. Not often do we see players playing long studs. Usually these Desso pitches hold up really well. This looks a little chewed up and it's been certainly raining since we've arrived. But Rasso for me was one of the differences in the Conti Cup final against Chelsea. Having her start at right forward in the position she's in today against Spurs. She was outstanding.
Walsh looking for that ball to Stokes, but Ashley Neville charging in with that one. Now they can try and get away here. Cho finds Williams. Stanway just urged her out of play.
I've been looking for Cho really to make an impact on the English game since she signed from West Ham and didn't have a huge amount of say in a game. You know, she's got, I think, 139 caps for her country, not the Korean captain. I expect, you know, to set the league alight, really. I'm seeing more positives now. She holds the ball exceptionally well, finds herself in pockets.
There's Williams, decides to go for goal. She saw the space opening up. Couldn't quite find the target.
She's got that in her locker, H. Williams. What she loves to do, get the ball and charge at teams. She's very, very strong. Good low centre of gravity, and this time sails over the bar, but Tottenham have to take their chances. People talk about how difficult they are to break down, but what Rhiannon Skinner's started to do is to flip that. They're not just on counters creating chances. They're using their creative players today, looking like Cho and Samanen, to really break those lines of Manchester City's defence.
Rachel Williams is one of the players on the score sheet in the reverse fixture, and perhaps that's what you were talking about, Rachel. The pitch wasn't quite holding up and Ellie Roebuck took a slip on the way.
Yeah, just looking at what footwear she's got on. No shiny metal studs there. They're often the neglected areas of the pitch, or certainly heavily used and therefore pretty slippery. But good choice, good decision from Ellie Robert to go long. Didn't fancy playing out short there.
Ball given away. And this time, Georgia Stanway held back there by Clemeron.
Pretty good team foul, I would argue, there from Clemeron. Once Georgia Stanway turns, she gets past both midfielders. And in doing so, she can be highly dangerous, Georgia Stanway. Clemeron got away with it. No yellow card for her. In my opinion, quite a cynical foul.
Times Greenwood. Manchester City to take this. Handed away by Bartrip. Not quite cleared away. In the end it is. Simon, and they're looking to go forward here. Cho is up there, but Kira Walsh also covering all ground. She spotted Lauren Hemp in some space. That's a nice ball. And here is Hemp. Gets away from Percival. Decides to shoot. Not quite cleared away, and in the end, they did enough, Spurs. Put it into the hands of Becky Spencer, but that was a close opportunity there for the visitors.
Wonderful ball from Kira Walsh, and that's what she can do given space. And Lauren Hemp, if you let her run inside, it's only a brilliant block from Molly Bartrip, and then some defending after that, some covering from Zadorsky that stopped that being a clear goal. Simple though, route one from Walsh. Hemp run at goal, chance.
Simon.
It's been quite an open game, hasn't it? Chances at both ends, openings at both ends, a little bit of lax defending, not quite enough pressure on the ball. It's leading to chances.
Are you pleased with the way that Spurs have approached this game? Because perhaps in the pre-match press conference that we heard from Rhiannon Skinner, she was very aware that obviously Manchester City have to come here and try and break them down, but they have gone for it, haven't they?
They have. I've liked the fact, as I mentioned, that Cho has sat a little bit higher. She's splitting, not just sat with next to Clemeron, but Clemeron and Sumanen sitting a little bit deep, but taking their chances when they're in possession. They are putting numbers forwards. Rachel Williams in previous games has been quite isolated in that 9 position, and that hasn't been the case. So I like the fact that Rhiannon Skinner's hedged her bets back to team a little bit more to break down Manchester City.
There's Lucy Bronze. Recently made her 100th appearance for Manchester City. That was last weekend. Walsh finds Witt. Now Stanway. Neville got a touch to it. And gets possession back to Spurs. The referee says no foul there on Ashley Neville as she collided with Demi Stokes, but immediately City have it back in. Kennedy decides to go back to a keeper, Roebuck.
I'm really liking the interchange of work between Clemeron and Sumanen and Cho. Those three in midfield for Spurs do an excellent job, but what they do have to keep an eye on is Kira Walsh. If you give her enough time or space, she can really orchestrate attacks for City.
Here's White. Now Stanway, charging run forward. Stanway decides to go for it. And in the end, perhaps a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, Georgia Stanway can do much better than that. She knows that, but it was the charge back from Clemeron, I think. Probably Georgia Stanway hearing her breathing down her neck. Sometimes that's enough to put off the charging striker.
Rebecca Spencer left on the bench in Tottenham's last game against Reading. Back in goal today, though. Neville. It's the ball taken away from her, and now Walsh to Stanway. Here's Rasso. Rasso able to get around, and Stanway's there arriving in the box.
Lovely defending from Zadorsky there, really good covering. Lovely run from George Stanway. You can see the little give and the goal, finds that space. And Rasso just left-footed, no look pass. Great covering from Zadorsky. Expect that from the experience that she brings. Canadian Olympic gold winner.
Williams finds Simon. He's being allowed to run here. Neville. Came off Stokes, and that'll be a corner to Tottenham.
Fantastic. They didn't rush when they were in possession. Spurs, they looked to pick a chance. The control was excellent. Lovely overlap that Rhea Percival was making down the right-hand side. But chance for Spurs. Strong in the air.
Williams just making sure her laces are tied properly. Percival sends that ball in. Roebuck couldn't quite get a hand to it.
I'd argue that Roebuck got an excellent punch there, because I think it was Rachel Williams who was rising at the back post, and at full stretch, Ellie Roebuck there gets up and makes contact with the ball. Or does she? She doesn't.
Looks like it came off the head of Williams,
on the replay.
Yeah.
She possibly did enough. This might be goalkeepers union, but did enough to put off Rachel Williams. For us, you know, I think Rachel Williams is 5'5". She's not the tallest player, but she's so strong and scores so many goals with her head.
Well, Clemeron is down, but she looks to be okay. Might have just got a push in the back there.
There's an Ellen White hip in her back. I'm sure Clemeron will be fine. It's in that kind of, in that lower back area that can take your breath away when you're not expecting it. But Clemeron, she was at Everton as well prior to coming to Spurs, is a tough nut French international. Excellent holding midfield player. She'll be back on the pitch, no doubt on that. And a free kick given for that. So another chance for Spurs to cause chaos for Ellie Roebuck.
So Percival with the delivery in, out to Williams, and then away by Demi Stokes.
Hugely convincing clearance. I think it was Lucy Bronze at that front post who should have made a more first contact. Should have been more convincing with a clearance. A little spell of possession, couple of free kicks, sorry, corner and a wide free kick has really lifted this Spurs crowd. They're working so hard, Spurs, but not only that, they're showing their quality when they do turn over possession. They're causing real problems for Manchester City.
Stokes looking for Ellen White, but Bartrip had it covered. Williams. Bartrip decides to go back to the keeper, Spencer.
That's the right idea. Rebecca Spencer had to go first time. Not enough time or space to make a touch, have a touch. It's great having good competition in that #1 spot. Becky Spencer was #1 for such a long period of time since she moved to Spurs, but bringing in former Everton goalkeeper and Finnish international Tiina-Riikka Korpela, has been excellent, pushed each other.
Kennedy. Walsh through to Stanway. Manchester City being a little bit quiet the last 5 minutes or so, whilst Tottenham have been able to get their chances in. But here's Demi Stokes looking to try and get that pass through to Lauren Hemp, but it was intercepted by Percival. Weir. Walsh. Lucy Bronze got a little bit of a touch to it, perhaps. Could have been dangerous because Kaya Simon was also hanging around too.
Just watching on every back pass to the goalkeepers or prospective back pass, you can see both sets of strikes. Ellen White is sniffing out an opportunity for a mishap. Kaya Simon, the Spurs doing exactly the same. Both experienced forward players, Ellen White and Kaya Simon.
Greenwood looking for the pass through to Caroline Weir, but Ashley Neville was in the way. Now could Cho be a wave? No, Ellie Roebuck spotted it. And here comes Lauren Hemp on the other side. Spotted a bit of space looking for Ellen White. Away by Zadorsky.
We said it was end-to-end. Brilliant goalkeeper from Ellie Roebuck to recognise the danger. That through ball to Cho, intercepted by her. Straight away turned round. A break for Lauren Hemp. Excellent recovery and defending from Spurs.
Well, they are the moments that Manchester City could be so dangerous. And the Blues, really a team who were struggling to find form at the start of the season. They've now lost just once in their last 13 games in all competition. And in that, they've scored 45 goals as well. Their only defeat in that run was that 1-0 defeat against Chelsea back in February in the WSL.
It's understandable the number of players that they had unavailable for different reasons, majority injury or surgery. Still got Steph Houghton out. She's in a race now to make it back for the Women's European Championships this summer. Got Lucy Bronze out, Lauren Hemp out, Chloe Kelly is still out. Ellen White was out, Kira Walsh was out.
Well, the big task for them now is trying to get themselves in that top 3 place. They haven't finished outside the top 2 in the last 7 seasons, so it would be quite the surprise, wouldn't it, for Manchester City? But they are getting back in form and they've had fantastic results recently.
Given their current table position, people may think, okay, it's going to be a tough ask, but given their current form, momentum, for me, I'm not saying it's a nailed on, but I would bet that City would get in one of those get in the 3rd position.
Well, they'll have to try and battle it out against the side that they're facing today, Tottenham Hotspur, currently in 4th. A win for Tottenham could bring them level on points with 3rd place Manchester United, who yesterday beat Reading.
I realise I've gone very early with my prediction there. But if anyone thought this was going to be a one-sided game in any way, shape or form, Tottenham have proved absolutely otherwise. It's quite an open game, chances at both ends.
That long ball over just ran away from Lucy Bronze there.
One of the best compliments so far you can give to what Spurs have done from their defensive responsibilities is how quiet Caroline Weir has been, how quiet Lucy Bronze has been, how little time on the ball like Alex Greenwood has had to distribute, because she has been a weapon for Manchester City. And ultimately, I don't think Rebecca Spencer has actually had a save to make, so.
Rachel Williams just off the pitch at the moment. Just seen her using an inhaler. Hopefully she'll be okay to continue. Now Lauren Hemp driving down that side. Caroline Weir got there. And Sumanen able to get in front of her.
Yeah, we played for England together, and at the London 2012 Olympics, Rachel's always had an inhaler on the pitch side, so it's not something I'd be too concerned about.
Of course, the medical team at Tottenham Hotspur making sure everything is okay before she does re-enter the pitch. And looks like she is ready to come back on. Sumanen with a touch in there, went high, but didn't quite go far enough because Lucy Bronze got there. Nice ball in from Williams to find Neville, and did well there to get the corner for the home side.
Brilliant interchange from Spurs. Rach Williams doing really well to control the ball and turn and thread it through to Ashley Neville, playing in that higher roll up the pitch. And all she could do was try and do exactly what she did and keep the ball in, square it, to get a touch off the recovering defender and earn her team a corner.
Bobby Percival takes it short to Bartrip. Here's Clemeron, blocked though by Caroline Weir. Here's Zadorsky.
If it had come off, you'd have said brilliant off the training ground, but the fact it didn't, I think you would have preferred Spurs to have whipped that corner in, seen how the problems that crossed balls into the box have caused for Manchester City so far.
Stokes to Greenwood.
Saw a little exchange of angry words between Georgia Stanway and Rhea Percival. I've seen Stanway bubble over before.
That ball intercepted there by Neville. Looking to get the pass on to Cho. Didn't quite work out. And in the end, foul on Stokes was spotted by the referee.
Cho's been impressive today. She's been hugely influential. She's worked hard to get back when required, but she's looking like that key to unlock, you know, the transition between defence and midfield.
That's a fabulous ball over to Rasso. Helen White's just about arrived in the box, but Rasso wanted to turn and go herself. A good block in the end. Stokes. Now Weir. Back to Stokes. They're just looking for a gap, Manchester City. Walsh. Rasso's just switched sides with Lauren Hemp on this near left-hand side. Kennedy. Lauren Hemp able to steal that ball away. Finds Georgia Stanway on the edge of the box. But again, well defended by Tottenham.
As that ball got dragged out to the City's right-hand side, I was looking at Caroline Weir. She was completely open on the edge of the box. What she likes to do is just drift out of position to find herself a bit of space. If Georgia Stanway could have threaded the ball through, she'd evaded Clemeron and moved more central.
Williams. Trip.
Good pressurising from Manchester City's front line there to force Molly Bartrip to have to go long. Gives less chance for Spurs to keep possession of the ball. It's Kai Simon who's down for Spurs.
I thought she was just doing up her laces, but looks like it might be a hand.
Yeah, the ref's grimacing. I think that gives you an idea as to what it is. Being a goalie, I've had quite a few dislocated fingers, and the fact that the camera operator is not showing us what that is, I presume it's similar to what I've had, which it doesn't look too pretty when your finger is at a right angle, and you've got to get the doctor on to quickly pull it back into place. So that's my presumption of what is going on there, with no pictures. But I'll tell you what, this just proves how tough the girls are out there. If anyone needed any reassurance that these are professional athletes, these are tough girls on the pitch who just want to get on and play, and it takes more than a dislocated finger to stop you.
She can't watch herself.
It's horrible. I've had it loads. Well, I've had it 4, 5, 6 times, and you know, it's when you take your glove off as a goalkeeper and look, and you think, oh, that doesn't look great. Calder, you can see there, it's a little finger that's not quite been reset into position. But they'll assess it, ensure there's no break in it, and if it's just a dislocation, they'll pull it back into place and she'll carry on.
Easy as that, Rachel. Stanway. Looking for Hemp, who was blocked.
She jumped out of the way. For me, that's not a free kick. As she jumped, presuming contact. Don't think there was too much in it. Ref hasn't given a free kick. I mean, Harrop just stands her ground and Hemp runs into her. It's going to be a sore one because it's sort of a knee into the quad for Lauren Hemp. What I have to say is that defensively, Tottenham Hotspur have made it really, really difficult. Rhiannon Skinner will be very, very happy with the discipline that her team have shown, and that's not saying that they haven't caused City problems in possession, because they have, absolutely. There's been a couple of one-on-ones with, if Ellie Roebuck hadn't have been quite concentrating, could have caught Manchester City out with those wonderful through balls. And certainly from corners and free kicks into the box, Manchester City haven't looked 100% convincing.
There seems to be a bit of a trend recently from Manchester City, doesn't it? That they first half perhaps isn't the most comfortable for them, and then the second half is when they're able to really get out the blocks.
Yeah, I think certainly this time it's not down to a lack of performance from Manchester City. It's more Spurs putting the shackles on them. But that certainly has been the case. Half-time talks seem to be Gareth Taylor's forte.
There's Greenwood. All over the top, looking for Stanways. Marlin got in the way and almost given away, and now it is. Here's Hemp. Up to Alan White and Rasso. The flag was up against her.
Yeah, it seems to be not a permanent swap, but certainly for the last 5-10 minutes, Rasso and Hemp have swapped wings, allowing, you know, what are Lauren Hemp a natural left footer to cut in on her left foot, essentially. We're seeing Kaya Simon still off the pitch. Might have played it down somewhat with a dislocated finger. They've just got to pull it out, set it straight. It does hurt. I mean, my two little fingers are still like that, a little bit bent. My wedding finger is still swollen beyond recognition and bigger than my husband's wedding finger through dislocations of my own. But I'm hoping that Kaya Simon is...
Well, looks like Rosella Ayan is going to be the player to replace Kaya Simon, who's still getting the medical attention on her little finger.
That's a shame, because she had such a big impact for Spurs. But if there's any concern that there's a break in there or they haven't been able to reset it,
well, 10 minutes to go until half-time. At the moment, really, Tottenham with the better of the chances, have been able to keep Manchester City at bay so far. Harrop. Samanen just trying to take that ball away from Stanway. Kennedy to Ali Roebuck is in a very fluorescent yellow, highlighter yellow kit.
Won't wash well, that, will it? From a practical term. I've been interested to watch Samanen. It's a January transfer signing from Spurs. I've not seen her play live before, but I've been very impressed with her.
Ball over the top and headed towards the keeper, Spencer, from Percival. Perhaps a heart-in-mouth moment. She'll be able to deal with it.
Nice early shout. Nice early shout from Becky Spencer. Called a defender off. Defender just shields the on-rushing player to try and slow her down.
Well, Tottenham Hotspur fans looking to create some energy in the home side. And Tottenham forced to an early change with Rosella Ayan coming on for Kaya Simon. Well, intercepted there by Clamaron. Here's Williams looking to get away and around from Greenwood. Neville. Cho got in the way. Now Samanen got a bit of space opening up here. Here's Cho. Just couldn't quite keep that ball in play, but that was really nice bit of movement from Spurs.
Wonderful movement. Lovely hold-up play from Rachel Williams initially. Then ball slipped through from Samanen to Cho. Cho just with that final touch overruns it. But promising play from Spurs.
We'll try and attack again. Percival. Ball into the box. Williams was arriving, but so was Roebuck, and got a very important two hands to it.
Yeah, just deep enough for Ellie Roebuck to come and command, but does well to get it. This time Rhea Percival overlapping on this right-hand side. Ashley Neville sitting in deeper, but just stands it up enough that she can come and command her 6-yard box. Excellent goalkeeping from Ellie Roebuck. But positive signs from Spurs once again.
Stokes. Back to Greenwood. Here's Kira Walsh. Now Arasso. And White back to Georgia Stanway. Quite a pacey ball on there. Able to direct it towards Lucy Bronze. Here's Hemp. Gets away from Harrop, and Bronze picks up on the overlap. Clemmeron.
Good defending from the front there from Rachel Williams, putting pressure on Walsh. That's what you don't want, is Kira Walsh having time on the ball, being able to spray it about, distribute it.
Well, Hayley Russo's down. The ball was taken away from her by Ash Neville. Referee will stop play now and check she's okay.
It did look like a very astute little nick, but when we look at the replay there, it's clearly a foul from Ash Neville. But she's got to play to the whistle, Ash Neville, as she did.
Greenwood. Kennedy going for that ball over the top, but it was Harrop who reached it first. Zadorski. Here's Clemmeron. Nice bit of space opening up here for Neville. Has the ball down to Williams. He's looking for that ball into space for Neville, who was running into it, but it was well defended by Kennedy and Demi Stokes.
It was. It all started from a lovely little touch from Suman, and he managed to spray the ball out right, and then that through ball, Ashton Neville, rather than going on the outside, wide, ran straight down the middle. But a good tussle, good communication from Ellie Roebuck and Alana Kennedy. Fans' favourite, Ashton Neville. She's been here longest standing Tottenham player, seen them through their amateur level, semi-professional level, and now as a fully professional team in their third year. She's put her second career to one side to become a full-time professional footballer.
That was a former primary school teacher, Ashley Neville. Scored in 2 of her last 3 Women's Super League games as well. Bronze. Came off the foot of Lucy Bronze, will be a Tottenham throw. How pleased will Rianne Skinner be with this first half performance from her side?
So far, with 5 minutes to go, you should be very, very pleased, because they have absolutely caused Manchester City problems. They've not had a moment to relax Manchester City, and they have performed their defensive duties absolutely sublimely, really limiting Manchester City to very little in front of goal. Lauren Hemp and Hayley Rasso both had knocks laid onto them by their very wily fullbacks of Rhea Percival and Kerris Harrop. Lots of experience in those 2 players.
Greenwood. Ball forward, but there was no one there to pick up on it.
I think the defenders right from the front as well. We've seen the performances of Rachel Williams, how she's hustled Kira Walsh in possession. Cho has done the same. Clemmeron, Suman, and the whole midfield, that core, they've worked excellently together.
There's Sumanen. Goes down, but Lucy Bronze carries on. Stanway.
Sumanen clearly thinking she's gotten caught on the back of her heel.
White. There's Rasso, who's switched around again with Lauren Hemp.
That's what this game's been like, hasn't it? Sumanen in attack, and as quickly as that fire is extinguished, then the other team are in possession and down the other end, creating danger. It's been a really enthralling first half. Really good covering tackle from Kerris Harrop there. We're seeing the tackle again from George Stanway on Sumanen, and she doesn't lunge out, but she certainly catches the back of her legs, and that should have been a free kick. But we probably it's maybe evened itself out with what should have been free kicks and haven't been given.
Alex Greenwood will take this for Manchester City. Headed away by Zadorsky. Percival able to keep it in and on the way. Gets fouled as well by Lauren Hemp.
Again, excellent understanding, excellent feel, Rhea Percival there. There was danger. Alex Greenwood free kicks are always, corners are always excellent, and they were, but Rhea Percival could see that coming, read the situation brilliantly and bought her team a little bit of breathing space. Over 150 caps for New Zealand, Rhea Percival. New Zealand's most capped player. I'd expect such recognition and reading of the game from her.
Bartram. You see their confirmation, 3 minutes added on in the first half. Williams. Clemeron. Headed away by Kennedy, only as far as Sumanen. Out to Harrop. Neville. Clemeron back to Neville, who's able to get the ball into the box. Lucy Bronze with an important headed away. And Ayan in the end, into the side netting.
Really textbook build-up play. The switch, Sumanen receiving the ball, switching out right, playing it to Ashley Neville down this right-hand side. Lovely interchange. And that looping ball to the back could have been dangerous. Ayan only come on sort of 10 minutes ago, just swivels and strikes it powerfully, but just low and wide of Ellie Roebuck, who had it covered in the City goal.
Bronze. Here's Rasso. Space opening up. Decides to go for goal and straight into the hands of Spencer.
Oh, I can see Caroline Weir. She's remonstrating with Hayley Rasso. She should have played it earlier. You can see here, Rasso, brilliant run and lovely find. So much space, but Caroline Weir on the edge of the 18 is saying, I'm here, I'm free. Hayley Rasso could have just cut it back earlier and found her. They're the danger areas that Caroline Weir likes to take up.
Stokes with the throw.
Molly Bartrap's been excellent alongside Zadorsky at centre half. Those two have marshalled that back line, stepped out when they needed to, and really limited Ellen White to absolutely nothing.
There's Bronze. In forward, nice touch from Rasso, and to the edge is Caroline Weir and Ellen White.
I thought it was going to be famous last words. Just as I'm saying she's had nothing, that is her first shot on target.
And with that was the last opportunity for Manchester City in the first half. Tottenham Hotspur really keeping the Blues at bay in the opening 45 minutes. Rosella Ayan, one of the players who had to come on in place of Kaya Simon. And really, they've been able to keep that player, Lauren Hemp, relatively quiet as well. Not too many opportunities for Manchester City in the first half. Rachel Williams with a couple of good chances coming through. You have to say, Tottenham Hotspur looking the more dangerous side in the first half. And we'll see how they can come out in the second half. But at half-time, it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester City 0.
Yeah, okay, here it is goalless at half-time. I'm joined by Farah Williams and Jenna Schillaci. Farah, it was, I suppose, in many ways quite a cagey affair, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think, look, Manchester City have come here, and we heard Rianne Skinner talking about in the pre-game interview that she had, that City have to come here and get points and Tottenham will make it hard for them. And they've done that. They've been diligent in their defending. They've set out with a 4-5-1 and played on the counter-attack. And in doing that, they frustrated Manchester City and created their own chances in transition and have come the closest in this first half.
Yeah, and we can see that chance now from Rosala, Jenna.
Yeah, it was a good ball in from Ashley Neville on the right-hand side, and it was a one-on-one with Robert. Robert's got down, but it's really positive play from Tottenham. Here you just see that the cross into the back post, and Rosella's just got her head down. It's a bit of a half chance there, but, you know, positive. She's just come on the pitch. She adds pace to that front line. But I think Rianne will be happy with her team going in at half-time. You know, they've defended very well and caused problems themselves.
Yeah, and you say it was a half chance, but if they had got on the score sheet, that would have been a really good time to get it, because it was just before half-time. Other than that, I guess both sides have really been restricted to just long-range chances. No one really going for it in the 18-yard box. Both sides defending very deep.
Certainly Tottenham are defending deep, I think, and with that they're frustrating Manchester City. I don't think there's been enough runs in advance from Manchester City. Here in transition for Tottenham, you see Rach Williams is alone, and so what's happening in transition, because they're playing a 4-5-1 and they're so deep, she's isolated at times, so her only option is to shoot from distance. But here you can see Georgia Stanway, there's no movement in front of her, so again she's restricted to shooting from distance.
Yeah, and you talk about frustrating Manchester City, and the person that you would always try to keep at bay is Lauren Hemp on the left-hand side. They've been doing that pretty well, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they've dealt with her very well. I think Percival has taken care of her on the right-hand side. She has been darting, had some opportunities to cut in and done well, but I think it's credit to the Tottenham defence that, you know, she switched also over to the right-hand side to have a bit of joy against Harrop, and has gone back now to the left. But she has found herself out here on the left-hand side with a bit of space, and we all know what Lauren Hemp does in those positions, head down and deliveries into the box. But here we see bodies back from Tottenham defending and bodies on the line, and so far so good defensively from Tottenham.
I think what's really good about Hemp is that she picks up some really good positions and asks questions of the fullback. She's very direct in her running, and she can go on either side, and here this is a chance where she comes in onto her right foot and gets a shot away. Here she drives in and then takes it down the outside and gets a crossing off her left foot, and you know, if anything's going to come, it's going to come down this left-hand side with Lauren Hemp. I think she's the most effective player for this Manchester City team. Yeah. I believe her teammates have to make the box. I think sometimes the deliveries are in there and they're static, the movement's static. There's no change of pace to get onto these deliveries that are coming in.
Yeah, okay, and she is exactly, as you say, one of the most dangerous players. In terms of Tottenham, they had to make a change early on. Keir Simon had to go off with a dislocated finger. It almost bore fruit, actually, with Rosala with that half chance to score. But in terms of, for Rianne Skinner, you know, having to make those kind of enforced changes, it does sort of have an impact, doesn't it, on your game plan?
Yeah, it's not ideal, you know, to lose a player in the first half, because it was a good battle that was building up there between Simon and Bronze. But with Rosella, you know, she's got the pace, so it will suit the game plan. Not much will change, and she's that target player with the pace in behind the Man City line. So not ideal, but, you know, Rosella can step in and do a job just as well.
Yeah, and City, you know, whilst they have been frustrated, they have been dominating possession, almost 2/3, actually more than that in this game. How do you see the second half playing out in terms of that?
I just think they need to up the intensity of their play. I think you're right in saying that they've dominated all of the possession. They've had chances down the flanks on both sides with Vassar and Hemp. I just think it's that when they get into that final third, I think because Tottenham are sitting so deep, there has to be some dynamic movement in there to get onto any of the chances. I think it's too static at times and too slow.
Yeah, okay, well, it is still goalless here, or it has been at half-time, but the WSL action kicked off on Saturday, starting with United's trip to Reading. If you haven't seen the highlights of that, here's Emma Jones with the commentary.
Twisting and turning from Russo, might well get the ball back from Thomas. Goes for a shot, and it comes back off the crossbar. Great chance for Manchester United to take the lead in the first minutes. Dronen plays the ball to Blundell. Lovely chip in, glanced in off the head of Galton. And Manchester United take the lead. Hannah Blundell putting the cross onto the head of Galton. 1-0 to Manchester United. Blundell, well, that's a pass that's intercepted by Rowe.
could gift Reading an opportunity through Rose, and they do equalise. Well, that started with a pass from Blondell, squeezed it into the path of Rose, 1-1. Lovely pass forward from Russo. Galton just checking that the flag stays down, curls it around Maloney and in. Galton with her second to put Manchester United back ahead. Badger onto her left boot. Oh, hits the crossbar, and that's crossed the line. That looked like it went in from the Manchester United defender. Nothing given by the referee or her assistants. Comes back to Russo, and there's no doubt about that one. That will be Manchester United's third goal of this game. But Badger's initial shot hit the crossbar and bounced over the line. That should have been given as a goal for Manchester United. Comes back to Russo, though, takes a deflection on its way. Comes down to Evans. Oh, comes back off the crossbar. Chance for Reading just before half-time. Free kick found the defender, denied by the crossbar. Now with Rose. Rose shot blocked. Might come back to Rose again. Good save by Earps. Second good save by Earps. Reading's goal scorer denied twice there. Free kick.
Well, that was a thrilling first half in that game between United over at Reading. In terms of for that battle for third spot, because it is Manchester United, it's Tottenham and Manchester City who are vying for that position. You've got to say Mark Skinner's side are in pole position, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They're in the driving seat at the moment, and yesterday I thought they had a really dominant display for the full 90 minutes. The first half I thought Reading were quite poor defensively, but yeah, 3 goals before half-time was a fantastic start, and it calmed the nerves, and they went on and totally controlled the match. So yeah, they're in the driving seat at the moment.
Yeah, and as for the other game, actually, Everton beat Reading 3-2. It was another entertaining game, that one. Leicester City, I should say. They've definitely picked up form under Lydia Bedford, but for Everton, I suppose they needed that victory after all the turbulence with their managers losing Willie Kirk and then Jean-Luc Vasseur as well. That was a really important win. 2 really good goals from Van der Gaard and Vergaard.
Yeah, look, this is an important 3 points for Everton. I think, you know, coming from behind showed a little bit of character within the team, which is what I believe this Everton team are going to have to show between now and the end of the season. They've got some fantastic players, but as you mentioned there, Vergaard starting to show form, you know, maybe at the right time for Everton to get some goals. And she got 2 in this game, and look, this is why they brought her to the club, was to get goals, and she's done that yesterday and helped her team to a 3-2 victory over Leicester.
Yeah, okay, well, that's just to give you confirmation then of the results from the fixtures over the weekend. Then, as you saw from those highlights, Reading lost 3-1 against Manchester United, while Everton beat Leicester City 3-2 at home. Today here at the Hive, it's currently goalless between Tottenham and Manchester City. Chelsea are well into their game against Aston Villa. It's currently goalless there. At 2 o'clock, Birmingham City, they're fighting for their survival, aren't they? They kick off against West Ham, and the late evening kick-off sees Brighton at home to Arsenal at 6:45. And now, with the latest on events at Chelsea, as well as what the future may hold for the club, Betty Glover is pitchside with Sandra Brobby from The Sun.
Thanks, Reshmin. Well, Sandra, Reshmin and the team did speak a lot about Chelsea at the top of the show, about how it will impact the players. But how exactly will the fans feel it?
Well, we know that before the sanctions, came in on the 10th, that, that season ticket holders can still go to games. Fans who bought tickets before the 10th, before sanctions came into force, can still go. But anyone wanting to buy tickets, after that time period can't. So it's a bit of a problem, and it's unfortunate for them that they won't be able to attend games or buy tickets to attend games. Given what the sanctions have come in.
And it's a difficult one for the women's game as well, isn't it, when you're trying to get more exposure out there and now fans can't go and watch Chelsea?
absolutely. I mean, they're one of the most popular teams in the women's game, one of the most popular teams in Europe, certainly. They've done a lot to raise the profile of the women's game, particularly with the success they've had under Emma Hayes. So it is a blow that, you know, fans who would like to go and see them and who would like to go and buy tickets can't at this moment in time.
Yeah, and Chelsea have also got about 4 players out of contract at the end of summer, haven't they, Sandra? Just quickly.
I mean, you've got players like Ji So Young, who's been at Chelsea, the stalwart of Chelsea, been there for a number of years. Drew Spence, Jonna Anderson, Maren Mjelde, whose contracts are due to expire this year, but because of the transfer ban, they're not in a position to be able to do negotiations at this moment in time.
Well, there we go, Reshman. It is a situation that is just constantly developing, but I'm sure we'll hear more about it soon in the future.
Yeah, we certainly will. Betty and Sandra, thank you very much. I mean, you know, Chelsea's men are in action as well. Thomas Tuchel has been talking about the need for flexibility. You certainly do need that when you've got players out of contract, as they were just discussing there. The likes of G, Mjelde, Berger, Drew Spence and Joanna Anderson. These are big players whose futures are uncertain now.
Yeah, look, they're massive players for Chelsea, and certainly players that have been at the club for a long time, and Emma Hayes will, you know, definitely want to get those contracts nailed down. But look, she's not going to panic, and, you know, we're hoping that Chelsea have a buyer in the next few weeks, and if they do, then, you know, those players' contracts can be sorted by the end of the season. It's not unusual for the women's game, the contracts to run down as low as they do. I know it's different in the men's game, but sometimes in the women's game, they do run as late as towards the end of the season. So I don't think they'll be panicking just yet.
I guess that's it, really, because you can't panic about what you don't know about, and when the future is unknown, you kind of just have to get on with the task at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. They can, at the moment, they can only control what they can control, and that is every day in the training centre and match days. That's all they can do now. I mean, it must be a massive worry on absolutely everyone involved with the club, management, players, but as I say, you can only control what you've got in front of you and what you do know.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, we've of course got a game on here at the Hive. It's still goalless between Tottenham and Manchester City. There's FA Cup action next weekend as well in the men's and women's game. But before that, there's plenty more football across the BBC.
Good hit! How about that? Lukaku! He gets his goal! Terrific cut time. Glorious through Grealish. Coburn! Extraordinary!
Middlesbrough Chelsea and Southampton Manchester City. Kicks off Saturday, 4:50 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Yeah, great weekend ahead. But before all of that, we've got highlights from the weekend's Women's Super League matches tonight on the Women's Football Show. That's at 11:55 on BBC One. There's a Six Nations rugby special tonight on BBC Two at 6:15. Kate Cross and Alex Hartley bring you the latest from the Women's World Cup on No Balls, the cricket podcast, which you can listen to now on BBC Sounds. And before we head back to the second half of Tottenham against Manchester City, let's get a recap of the first. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City. Both sides have their eyes on a top 3 finish, which would of course mean European football next season.
Chances at both ends, openings at both ends.
Stanway decides to go for it.
Simon's down, the rest grimacing. I think that gives you an idea as to what it is.
Now could Cho be a wave? No. Ellie Roebuck spotted it.
Okay, yeah, big week for both the sides. Actually, they're both in action during the midweek as well and at the weekend. But in terms of this particular game, what does City need to do to come back into this?
I think they've got to find a way to break down this Tottenham defence. It's clear from the first half that Tottenham are getting bodies back behind the ball and that they're recovering very well. So they need to break that down, move the ball a bit quicker, I think, in the final third.
But in terms of for Spurs, this is a really important game to try and, you know, make up ground on Manchester United. They're going to have to attack as well.
Yeah, I think they do, but I think they don't want to lose the game. They don't want to drop points here. I think that they have to keep the focus for another 45 minutes. They've been fantastic in the first 45. What Tottenham tend to do is come out and play 2 different games. They're fantastic in the first half, and when the game opens up, you start to see holes, and then they get exploited. So hopefully they can be disciplined in their second half performance.
Yeah, do you see them like going, you know, catching City on the break maybe in that second half? And they have got some late goals, haven't they, this season?
They have, and I think they'll have confidence from that, especially from the prior game that they played against them. But I think their main priority will continue to defend how they have, bodies behind, keep recovering. They can't afford to switch off, and then hopefully be clinical if they do get any chances come their way.
Is there more pressure on City then, do you think, to get the points today? Because they're the ones playing catch-up, really.
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on City. I think, look, they're a big club and they're a team that are used to winning and playing in the Champions League. And so, you know, they had a really poor start to the season and they've started to pick up results and momentum. And so their run of games towards the end of the season, they would be expecting to win these games. So the pressure's on Manchester City to get 3 points today.
OK, well, they were first out. Tottenham are heading out onto the pitch now as well, which means it's time to rejoin our commentary team, the former England and Everton goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis, who is alongside Pian Mullenstein.
Thank you very much, Reshman. Almost ready to get underway in the second half. Neither side able to break the deadlock in the first half, but really you've got to say, Rachel, Spurs the more dominant.
I think possession-wise it was relatively even, but I would think that Rhian Skinner was the happier of the two managers at half-time. There wasn't much really to decipher who was the more dominant of the two teams in that first half. Neither team really had clear-cut chances, both limiting each other to sort of speculative chances. Maybe Rosella Ayan, the substitute on that left-hand side late on in the first half, for Spurs with the best chance, or the most troublesome one. But as Farah and Jenna were alluding to there, we need to see, Spurs will need to see exactly the same replica. Disciplined, try and catch Manchester City when they have shown vulnerabilities, but they have to make those chances work. And for Manchester City, exactly the same. They have to keep getting the ball out wide, dragging out that back line, creating those gaps in between, as we saw Hayley Rasso do in the dying stages of that first half, to create chances and feed Ellen White, because she has had nothing to go off in the first half.
Well, there have been some changes straight away in the second half, one of them being Julie Blackstad, who's come on to replace Demi Stokes. And it does look like Tottenham are also ready to make a change as well. Josie Green getting ready to come on. And there is confirmation. Rachel Williams makes way. And Josie Green, the player to come on. And it's Manchester City who get us underway in the second half. Blues looking to keep on picking up those points in the Women's Super League, edge themselves ever closer to a finish in the top three. Of course, in their way are the visitors Tottenham Hotspur, who have so far been keeping Manchester City relatively at bay.
Yeah, and Spurs' job will be to stop the second half Manchester City team, because typically in the second half Manchester City have been unbelievable, you know, double the output really of what they have been in first halves in previous games, in Conti Cup final against Manchester United prior to that. They've really dominated second half performances.
Percival will take this for Tottenham. Straight away, Blackstad involved in the action, one of the changes for Manchester City. So we've seen a change as well for Manchester City. Demi Stokes has come off, Blackstad has come on. How will that change how Manchester City will go ahead in this second half, Rachel?
I don't think Blackstad's as naturally pacey as Demi Stokes. Demi Stokes didn't go on too many overlapping runs, but she's a very strong player, will keep possession exceptionally well, Blackstad. She certainly can attack, but doesn't have that raw, natural pace as Demi Stokes does. I don't think it will disrupt things too much. I think Manchester City, Gareth Taylor will want to see likes of Lucy Bronze, will want to see likes of Blackstad bombing forwards and be part of the supply chain for Ellen White up top.
Josie Green went down.
Yeah, welcome to this match, Josie Green. She's certainly more of a definite midfield player, Josie Green, and we've seen that Sumanen has gone as the highest player for Spurs, replacing Rachel Williams.
All over the top for Ayan, but it was found by Bronze. Greenwood turning to try and get away from Cho. Walsh. And really now, Rachel, for Tottenham, is this a must not lose game? If they can keep the points, get a point, or the 3 points, keeping themselves ahead of Manchester City, because of course it is the Blues who are breathing down their necks at the moment.
I think it's a must not lose. The draw, they're already in the driving seat in regards to positional sense in the table. Manchester City, they have to get 3 points.
Stanway finds Witt. Green. One guy get away from Lauren Hemp.
So when Lauren Hemp came back out for the second half, she was heavily strapped on that quad of hers, the left quad. Not sure how long she'll be able to continue. I'm sure it's a test run the next sort of 5, 10, 15 minutes. It looked pretty innocuous at the time, but it certainly was a knee in the quad, bit of a dead leg. Not the sort of thing that can necessarily run off. Certainly the power that Lauren Hemp uses, explosive power of the muscles, start to tighten up as blood pools in that area with the injury, bleeding muscle fibres. So Gareth Taylor will want to protect her because she is key to Manchester City and their movement towards top 3 place this season.
Harrop. Back to Zadorsky. Decides to go back to Becky Spence, who really only had last moment before the half-time whistle where Ellen White was in on goal, and that was really the only big save that she had to make.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy one, pretty tame shot in the end from Ellen White, but you're right, only shot on goal. You said how disciplined Spurs were in that first half defensive performance, and you know that's the outcome of such a disciplined performance. Is, you know, as a goalkeeper, you want to marshal your players in front, keep them disciplined to do their job so you don't have to do anything. So the fact that that was the position that Becky Spence was in, they've all done an exceptional job. Bit of Six Nations there from Ashley Neville, bit of rugby.
Thought the ball perhaps might have gone out of the stadium, but it actually just bounced back in. And it is a throw to Manchester City. Neville with the ball over the top. Kira Walsh. Ball for Blackstad. Tries to get the ball into the box, but blocked away by Percival.
That's exactly what Gareth Taylor will have wanted from Blackstad. To be high up the pitch in those positions, to be able to try and cross the ball, be provider.
It's going to be Georgia Stanway to take this corner kick for the visitors.
Some good targets in there for Manchester City. You've got Lucy Bronze, Alana Kennedy, Ellen White, Caroline Weir just waiting on the edge.
Well, the corner kick comes in.
Brilliant goalkeeper from Becky Spence. Hayley Rasso was all over on that cross. Dealt with that brilliantly.
Back out to Bronze. Here's Caroline Weir. Swings the ball in. Ellen White was arriving too, as was Lauren Hemp. Back out to Stanway. Stanway looking for some space, and in comes the collision with Josie Green. And a free kick for Manchester City.
Fantastic defender. Molly Bartrip got her bang on the head when she reached at the back post. Not on this first one. Here's where Becky Spence does fantastically well. Hayley Rasso all over. I'd be letting the referee know what she was doing to me in goal. Has the right to do that. Keeps her eye on the ball and does her job really, really well. Danger here, we know. What George Stanway, what Alex Greenwood, Caroline Weir are all magicians from this sort of distance. Becky Spence has to cover the post that she is lining up there with the wall. She's got 5 in the wall, 4 and then 1 slightly central, and then she's got to cover what is her left side of the wall. Got the draft excluder. I think that's perfect for the women's game. The walls are not as tall as in the men's game. So as long as they sink, the wall jumps.
Will be Caroline Weir to hit one, and it was a decent save off the post, and Becky Spencer went the right way too.
Well, I think the wall did its job until the replay. I can't see whether it went just round or over the wall. Goes just over the wall. That's as much as you can do. Great effort. Not too much whip on it. Becky Spence gets over and covers that side well.
We can sense that the pace and power that was behind that as it rattled off the woodwork from Caroline Weir, who's scored 4 goals in her last 3 appearances in all competitions, so she's in great scoring form.
Has been very quiet in this game so far. Her tendency is to get into pockets of space between the back 4 and the midfield. Hasn't managed that so far.
Blackstad away from Neville, and here's Hemp. Ball into the box, but away by Bartrip. And now Percival. Ball taken away from Hemp by Neville.
I feel Manchester City have ramped it up a little bit in this second half. Come out with, in the first 10 minutes, with a real impetus, the bit between their teeth. And it's a continuum of pressure that they're putting on Tottenham at the moment.
Here's Kennedy. And now Bronze. Georgia Stanway finds Rasso, and ball intercepted by Harrop.
Fantastic reading of the play there from Keris Harrop. Seen her do this for so many years. Spent over 10 years at Birmingham before moving to Tottenham Hotspur to further her career. And she's a model professional.
Well, Tottenham have been able to get themselves out of that little bit of danger that Manchester City were putting in front of them. Perhaps one of the messages from Gareth Taylor at half-time. Gareth Taylor's won 3 of his 4 managerial meetings against Tottenham Hotspur. And the most recent one coming in that defeat in the reverse fixture back in September, when Tottenham Hotspur beat Manchester City 2-1 right at the end. Blackstad. Here's Caroline Weir. Finds Stanway. That's a nice pass looking for Rasso. An important block from the captain, Zadorsky.
Yeah, good recovery from Spurs. Bad turnover of play. Ashley Neville caught in possession centrally, and then it was too easy. Caroline Weir to Georgia Stanway, who slips it through to Hayley Rasso. As we've seen time after time, excellent recovery runs from Zadorsky. And Molly Bartrip centrally coming out wide to help their full-backs. But it is an onslaught in this opening 10 minutes of the second half.
Well, Ellen White was also one of the players right in front of the penalty spot. We're looking to create something now. Greenwood with the ball in. Header was coming in. Back out to Greenwood. He sends it in again, punched away by Spencer. And that is rewarded with a big round of applause from the home supporting fans.
And from me, brilliant footwork from Becky Spencer to get herself across and get a touch on that. Lovely ball in from Alex Greenwood. Helps her back line out, Becky Spencer.
Here's Walsh. Hemp. Ball taken away from a little touch from Neville. Simonin with a little bit of a pacey ball that Clameron couldn't quite get hold of. Stanway now finds Rasso. Here's Bronze. Neville trying to get that ball forward, but Manchester City just not letting Tottenham Hotspur get any kind of look in at the moment. And that will be the first card of the afternoon for Alex Greenwood.
Manchester City were doing really well to squeeze Spurs. Really hard to maintain possession, but they did that exceptionally well, and just a late mistimed tackle from Alex Greenwood. But Spurs do have to be careful. Turning over possession in that central area of the pitch can allow Manchester City to drive forward, and they flood numbers forwards in possession.
Ball over from Zadorsky. Found the feet of Caroline Weir. Lauren Hemp now to Blackstad, who tried to turn and get ahead. Would have been a fantastic turn, wouldn't it, if it worked out for it?
It was, and they quickly turned over possession. This is looking back at Alex Greenwood, and beautiful ball in, but how Rebecca Spencer gets across. She moves her feet really, really quick. That's something that Rebecca Spencer's renowned for, how quick her feet move. She's not the tallest of goalkeepers, but moves her feet brilliantly to get a punch and save her team there.
Walsh. Manchester City looking to go again, and this is a nice pass through to Rasso. Rasso takes a shot. Again, a fantastic save from the Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper.
It was, got her angles right, Rebecca Spencer. Brilliant run from Hayley Rasso. You can see Georgia Stanway picks her out, weights the ball beautifully. Kerry Tarapi's treading water. Zadorsky has to cover that near post, can't step out, or doesn't step out, allowing Rasso to have a free shot at goal. Hard and low, I think the textbook would have said, but keeps it high and gives Rebecca Spencer a chance. Let off for Tottenham, but we're just showing now where Hayley Rasso and her ever-lasting pace and tenacity is starting to wear down Kerry's Harrop left back here. She will need Zadorsky to come over and cover her.
Well, they've started to knock on the door, Manchester City. Ball taken away, and Neville will pick it up. Here's Clameron. The ball into the box, but the only player that was there was Cho. It's Bronze who picks it up and intercepted by Ayan. Here's Cho again. Spurs looking to create an opportunity of their own. Greenwood able to keep hold of that ball. Ashley Neville was charging at it. Alan White to Blackstad, and nice little layoff from Lauren Hemp looking for Caroline Weir.
Be interesting to see whether Gareth Taylor changes his tactics at all. Caroline Weir's got a little bit more on the ball this second half, but the supply to the forward line has been limited, and he won't be happy with that.
The Wembley Arch quite close to here. We can see it in the background.
It's a risky tactic, this playing at the back. I mean, City are playing excellent one-touch football. We see what advantages there been there.
Well, the ball's been taken away, and Neville looping ball into the area. Rosella Ryan was there, but Ellie Roebuck spotted it.
A chance created from their own goal kick.
Lucy Bronze driving forward now. Rasso is available. Finds it too. Ellen Weiss hanging in the area. Rasso crosses it. Another great save. On the rebound, Caroline Weir gets another goal for the Blues. Manchester City finally break the deadlock. Caroline Weir with her 5th goal in the last 4 appearances.
Well, they utilised that turnover of possession. Lucy Bronze drives 50, 60 yards down the pitch, and Hayley Rasso saying she's become a little bit more exposed. And it's bumbled in really as Molly Bartrip's trying to clear the ball. It ricochets. Caroline Weir, though, just as she always is, in the right place, in the right time, at the right time. And you'd expect no one else other than Caroline Weir to be on the score sheet. She's been exceptional for them and really stepped up her performances. Not being in it hugely today, has made the difference so far.
Well, they're going to try again, Manchester City. Manchester City breaking the deadlock in the second half. It was one of the conversations that we were having, wasn't it, that Manchester City perhaps performing better in the second half. And they really have, haven't they, been going at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, you've seen the difference in performance from first to second half, and even in this opening 20 minutes, the exchange, you can see it's almost whether City, you know, go up a gear in the second half, and it's whether is it a talking to, is it a tactical thing, you know.
Corner comes in from Georgia Stanway.
Either way, it works, doesn't it? You know, at the end of the day, if they're coming out as winners in a tight game, arguably, you know.
Jess Park getting ready to come on for Manchester City.
You know, we said about Lauren Hemp, I don't know whether it is her coming off, but it's certainly a player they would like to protect if there's any risk of injury with that dead leg that she got in the first half. Good to see Lucy Bronze, by the way, getting back to, you know, where she has been one of the world's best players, if not the world's best player, certainly voted that by her peers, by the industry. And that driving run was seeing her back to her best, and it opened up, just drove straight down the heart of Tottenham Hotspur, drawing players to her, allowing that space to open up to Hayley Rasso for the goal.
And Bladstad was going for that. In the end, Hemp able to pick up on it. Zadorski to Bartrip. Bronze with the kick away. And Jess Park still ready to come on the touchline for Manchester City. We'll have to wait till the ball goes out of play. Ball intercepted here by Lauren Hemp. Ball across to Rasso. Couldn't quite get the touch she wanted.
Again, that's where the openings are coming about for Manchester City. Hayley Rasso on this right-hand side.
And with that was the last opportunity for her of the afternoon, as Hayley Rasso is to be replaced by the 20-year-old Jess Park.
Hayley Rasso's had an excellent impact on the game. She's a tireless worker, both with defensive duties as well as bombing forward, and found herself in plenty of space down that right-hand side. End of the first half was Manchester City's best chance for her as she linked up with Ellen White. But young English Jess Park getting a chance to shine.
Jess Park was one of the scorers in their 3-0 home win over Tottenham Hotspur in the League Cup back in the start of February. Here's Stanway. Clamour on. Ball into the feet of Sumana. Neville has this ball into space. Crosses it into the box. Caroline Weir picked up on it. Percival now. Here's Green. Back out to Clamoron, and now Harrop. Harrop with the ball into the box. Neville's there too. And with that comes the collision with Ellie Roebuck. Both players committing to the ball.
Wow, she got wiped out there, Ellie Roebuck. Does amazingly well to hold on to the ball. I know her dad's in the crowd just behind us. We'll be looking on a little bit worried, seeing her reaction. It's a great ball from Kerry Harrop at left back. Outside of her left foot, and as brave as she is, Ashley Neville clatters into her. I don't think any intention to injure, but careless, reckless. So it is a yellow. Two players fully committed to it, but in regards to Ellie Roebuck, she's only, what, 3 or 4 games back into coming back from that ankle injury, long time out of play. And she certainly looks in quite a lot of pain. Wow. First thing you've got to look at is ensuring that there's no neck or spinal injury, clearly. It is a clatter to the side of the head, which absolutely, you know, ricochets, almost like a whiplash injury. But as long as there's no breaks, I don't think it would be, just from my own experience as a goalkeeper, a concussion type injury, just more of that feeling of having your neck, you know, whiplashed, just being taken to full tilt. You feel it crack, you feel it. It's a horrible feeling, but I know exactly how it feels. And as long as there's no reason from a medical perspective that she can't continue, then I'm sure she'll be back up and playing.
The Spurs players in a huddle. The good news is that Ellie Roebuck, back up on her feet, receives a round of applause from the fans watching on.
It's one of those that when you get clattered at that pace, when you're not expecting it, you feel your neck crack, because, you know, people's necks do crack. And, you know, your robustness as a goalkeeper, hitting the ground and your neck muscles are very, very strong. Might sound an odd thing to say, but it's true. But when you feel that whiplash, that cracking of the neck, you've got a, it's a little bit of shock, you know, expecting the worst. But then the medics come over, check you out, you feel actually, all right, I feel okay. And you realise that all of that training, all that hitting the ground, all of that weights training has paid off because it's protected you.
Perhaps does need to just take a couple of moments for it to, the pain to wear off. So now Clamoron, who's down for Tottenham Hotspur.
It's tomorrow or the day after when you'll wake up and you'll remember that you got clattered on Sunday. But great to see her back up and playing. Same with Mav Clamoron. She's been key for Tottenham.
Medley King also watching on. Tottenham Hotspur legend in the crowd. Here's Stanway. Park. Back to Bronze. Wanted to take it quickly, but was blocked by Cho. There's Bronze again. Manchester City looking to add to their tally and try and get a bit more comfortable in this game, because of course Tottenham Hotspur, how much will that mean to them to try and get a point or even 3 points? But it was a loose ball. Ellen White went down as she was trying to get in on the area. Referee lets play on, and so Tottenham Hotspur do just that.
Spurs have done well in the second half. They have no recognised striker on the pitch, with Simana taking up that role after Rachel Williams had to come off. She's done well.
Here comes the change then for Manchester City. Janine Becky is the player to come on, and Lauren Hemp makes way.
It's the difference ultimately between these two sides. I know that Spurs have invested in their growth as a club over the last 5 years has been remarkable, but to bring the likes of Janine Becky off the bench, Olympic gold medal winner,
and going up against a Canadian teammate in Shalina Zadorsky, Janine Becky. Clemeron and turn and get away from Caroline Weir. Do you think that really is what's been missing in the second half for Tottenham? The fact that they haven't really got that recognised striker after Williams went off.
It's the experience of Rachel Williams as well as a striker, knowing when to stay high, knowing when she's required to defend from the front and, you know, nibble at the heels of Kira Walsh. Simona, I think, has done exceptionally well, and we've said that Manchester City come out in the second half and are up a gear, and so it's a combination of both. But I think with Kit Graham, their only other recognised striker, out for the rest of the season, Spurs, they're just a little bit light in that position. So to have to have brought Rachel Williams off is not something in the plan. But Tottenham and Rihanna Skinner have adapted well.
Here's Ellen White. All across to Becky, and Stanway on the edge of the box. Out to Jess Park. Stanway just can't squeeze away through and away from Green. And Jess Park able to keep it alive.
Good defending from Spurs there, just counting those 9 players there to defend the ball once it was inside the box with Georgia Stanway. They made it very, very tight, very, very difficult. And this is the one and only striker that they have on the bench, Tottenham.
Charlie Tang comes on as So-Yun Cho makes way. Charlie Tang, part of that winning Chinese team that won the Asia Cup, scored the penalty in the final as well in that win over South Korea. Bronze. Here's Jess Park. Tottenham under pressure now from Manchester City. Bonds goes through the legs of Ayan and also through the legs of Harrop, I think.
And she was saying to the ref and to the assistant that her shirt was being held. And she tries to get away. Ayan's got her arm across her and does pull her shirt, but it's on the blind side of the assistant. Can't see it. Cleverly done by Ayan. Does what she needs to stop Lucy Bronze from getting into a stride.
fighters down.
Yeah, it's a foul. Molly Bartrip, yeah, she's going for the ball but doesn't get it. Contact in the back of Ellen White. She looks like the back line are getting a little bit jaded now for Tottenham. They're being very, very disciplined. They're having to do a lot more work, a lot more shifts in their defensive third in this second half.
A little flick on there from Blackstad, but straight into the hands of Spencer. Ayan.
Good play from Ayan there, really strong, kept her body between the ball to protect it. Kept possession well for Samana, it's just a slightly stray ball.
Enrica Corpa is warming up. Cameron. There's Zadorsky. And Kennedy able to keep hold of the ball. Stanway. Harrop did well there to stop Jess Park from running past her.
Interesting to see how long Rhiannon Skinner leaves it. So she last throw of the dice to try and earn something from this game. Whether she sticks with the tactics she has. I know she just brought on Tang, but I don't see too much change in formation.
The ball given away. And Simonon just tried to go for the long-range shot.
Yeah, just so Ellie Roebuck creeping off of a line in that high starting position that she likes to assume. She read the situation well, Simonon, but just didn't execute as she would have wished to. Ellie Roebuck telling her teammates to get up. As it should be, no risk football.
And don't forget, you watch Arsenal against Tottenham, 26th of March, 2 o'clock that one on BBC One. Ellie Roebuck getting booked.
Unbelievable ref.
The crowd weren't happy with Ellen White there. They thought that was perhaps a handball to get that ball out, but it was a Spurs throw. Percival. And that ball's just watched out by Alex Greenwood.
Alex Greenwood's had an unbelievable season, arguably her best season in my opinion, from days at Everton and going abroad, coming back to Manchester City, at Liverpool. You know, she's a lot of experience in lots of different domestic clubs, but certainly with the loss of Steph Horton for long periods of this season, both at club and for country, she's slotted in really well as a centre half.
Blackstad driving forward. Overlapping run from Becky. And perhaps we've not really seen the Spurs that we saw in the first half come out the same in the second half.
It's been tough for them. I think losing Kaya Simon was something they didn't want. Brought on a slightly less experienced Rosella Ryan, I think's done really well. But for Spurs, I think there's long periods of positive scenarios that Rianne Skinner, should this game remain as it is 1-0, be able to pick out and draw a lot of encouragement from, because they've executed game plans brilliantly well. It's just at the sharp end when you might get one chance in a game. They've not been able to do that.
Bartrett with the ball forward. Well back there from Ellen White, and now Manchester City can be away. Stanway with the shot, and Jess Park was in space and perhaps frustrated that she didn't pass it, but Georgia Stanway found herself some space and had a good go.
That's a brilliant run from Georgia Stanway. Picks a pocket there brilliantly well, but as she does that, drops the shoulder, goes inside, get a bit of space. They're backing off defenders. That deserved a goal. Brilliant bit of skill here. That little drop of the shoulder, showing her outside, drives inside. You'd expect a player of Georgia Stanway's calibre to be hitting the target there.
Bronze keeps the ball in play. He's looking for Park, but able to get it away. Sumanan can now try and drive this run forward. Green. Ayan looking for Tang. There's a decent ball in, but the white shirts of Tottenham Hotspur couldn't get on the end of it.
Excellent run from Sumanan. She never gave that ball up. It was tough. She was stretching. And what about this for Ayan? You can see where Tang wants it, fractionally offside, but whether the assistant would have called it, but just Ayan slightly overhits it. It's Ellie Roebuck now who is down and receiving treatment again. I think she's saying that her eyes are a bit fuzzy, whether it's, you would imagine it's a symptom of the clattering with Ashley Neville 10-15 minutes ago.
So Ellie Roebuck down.
If that's the case, then Kiara Keating will be getting warmed up. You can see she's got a little graze on her nose. I don't think that is part of that collision, but if there's any sign that there is a potential concussion, we know what the duty of care is from the medical staff, and it's some collision right into the side of the head. We thought initially that it was a matter of getting over the initial impact of the neck. But yeah, Kiara Keating made a debut earlier on this season.
And Kiara Keating looking ready to come on. With this little break in play then. Rachel, who for you have been a standout player, your match player?
Well, I think that the whole of the Spurs team have been exceptional. It's been really difficult to pull out one individual, but that individual who has made the difference was Caroline Weir on the goal scoring sheet. But my player of the match today is Georgia Stanway. I think she's defended excellently well. She showed moments where she showed grit, given back what Spurs have laid on her, and nearly cut out her own chance to go 2-0 ahead for Manchester City. So Georgia Stanway's my player of the match.
So Kiara Keating has also come on as Ellie Roebuck has been forced off after that collision.
Be interesting to see what the protocol is, because clearly the immediate protocol is that she's come off. Does it mean 2 weeks without training now? 2 weeks without playing? I'd like to know the clarity around those protocols.
Stanway trying to pick up on this, but Rosalie fouled on the way.
It's been an intriguing contest. I think all round the game has been exceptional. It's second half, Georgia Stanway has really took the game by the scruff of the neck. But But it's been end-to-end. Certainly the first half was really absorbing. Spurs aren't finished yet.
Tang. Now Stanway can get away. Here's Jess Park. Cuts away from Harrop. Stanway again. Through to Park. Tried to cut it back, but off the feet of Harrop.
And that's what Jess Park brings. Pace in abundance. And she strung together, I think it was 3 starts, consecutive starts for Manchester City. People were talking about her potential chances getting into Serena Wiegemann's squad. She's not had a senior call-up yet, Jess Park, but I think that the day-to-day training with the likes of Lauren Hemp, and I'm sure Chloe Kelly will be back soon, and the experience of George Stanway and Lucy Bronze, I'm sure that call-up is imminent for Jess Park.
Stanway with the ball in. Caroline Weir almost tried to take it on the volley. There's Neville.
Hope Ellie Roebuck, clearly I hope she's okay. She's spent so much time on the sidelines with that ankle injury. Goalkeepers need to be robust, they need to be mentally strong, physically strong. And I think Kelly Roebuck was just getting back into the groove of match speed, decision making, positional sense. But first and foremost, I hope that they consider the welfare of the player and whether to bring her back or not.
We're hearing there's going to be about 6 minutes of time added on. Simone unable to get that block away from Caroline Weir. There is confirmation then of the 6 minutes added on. Here comes Spurs with Ayan. Looking for Tang, and it's Clemeron who picks this up.
Good break there from Tang. First time I've seen her in a Spurs shirt. She looks sharp. Her movement's excellent. You can see her clever movement as a forward, getting in between the 2 centre halves when she's had a couple of opportunities. Tidy with the ball at her feet.
Well, apologies if you heard any bad language there. Manchester City again driving forward, but actually held back there by Harrop. And there will be another yellow card.
Yeah, there's a lovely ball out from Rebecca Spencer from goal. From the goalkeeper to Keris Harrop. Just pickpocketed by the sprightly Jess Park.
Bronze taking it, looking for Stanway. That was prevented the corner.
Gareth Taylor's team now just looking to keep possession in the corner, be sensible.
Park. Harrop. Angela Addison will have a couple of minutes. Maeva clamour on the player who makes way.
Yeah, so an attacking last throw of the dice from Rhiannon Skinner. Angela Addison, wide player, forward player, a bit of pace. Substitute for a holding midfielder.
Well, 3 more minutes of the 6 added on to go. Tottenham looking to try and get that all-important equaliser. As it stands, Manchester City just 2 points behind 4th placed Tottenham Hotspur.
Spurs and Rhiannon Skinner have done a phenomenal job to be in the position that they're at, to be as robust a team as they have been this season.
Walsh finds Caroline Witt. Here's Janine Becky. Ball across to Caroline Weir, who will try her best to try and keep it in the corner flag, but Percival wasn't having any of it.
Tottenham fans appreciating that they've left nothing on the pitch. The Spurs players, tactical change that Rhiannon Skinner's made, the progress that her team have made. But they're finding a City team who are in ruthless form.
It's a goal kick, and perhaps the last opportunity that Tottenham Hotspur can have. Bartrett with the ball forward. Here's Green. Over the top, looking for Zelayan. Harrop. It's a Spurs throw.
Got a young goalkeeper who's just come on, a little bit of lack of communication between her and Lucy Bronze. Spurs saw that, pumped the ball forwards.
Ball put away. And now Ellen White has got space to try and get this ball away. We've played the 6 minutes that have been added on. Neville forward to Percival. They're going to try everything now, Spurs. Important block by Greenwood.
Manchester City will know that they have been in a battle today. They've not been able to switch off for a second.
And Janine Becky with the ball forward. We're almost going into 97 minutes. We're looking to get that ball for Georgia Stanway, but Spurs pick it up again. Ayan. Neville. Ball over. Looking for Sumanan, but safely into the hands of Kiara Keating.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there. Goes down to the ground. Allowed to take her time. No yellow card for this one. But what a wonderful experience for Kiara Keating. Already made her first team debut this season.
And with that goes the full-time whistle. What an important 3 points that is for Gareth Taylor's side. It wasn't an easy one, it was a real battle, but in the end, Manchester City clinical again, thanks to Caroline Weir. It was a messy goal, but it was bundled in. She was in the right place at the right time. Georgia Stanway, the standout player for the Blues today. And that edges Gareth Taylor's Manchester City ever closer to try and getting that finishing place in the top 3. They stay 5th, but just 2 points away from Tottenham Hotspur. And also 5 points away from 3rd place Manchester United. It was a first half that belonged to Tottenham Hotspur, but Manchester City came out in the second half, as they do, and were able to pick up the really important 3 points that they needed. So at full time, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester City 1.
Ian and Rachel, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, the sun is out here at the Hive finally, and it's not been a bright one for Tottenham, but a very good one for Manchester City. That is a victory that they really needed, Farah.
Yeah, I think it's a really important victory. I think Tottenham will be disappointed with the goal they conceded, a scrappy goal, one that they probably could have prevented. But yeah, as you mentioned, look, Manchester City had to find a way today, and they needed 3 points and to come away from the game with 3 points, and they were able to do that.
It was such solid defending for so much of that game, wasn't it, for Tottenham? And that's really what has been sort of the bedrock of Rhian Skinner's sort of a resurgence for Tottenham Hotspur this season. That was disappointing in that sense as well, because they did such a good job.
Yeah, I think that, you know, they defended for very long periods of the game, and they defended very well. So to concede such a scrappy goal, it'll be really disappointing. But, you know, the game plan, they stuck to it, and even up until the 96th minute, they were still pressing, trying to get the equaliser. So it wasn't all disappointment for Tottenham. They can hold their heads up high, but yeah, really frustrating to, you know, concede such a scrappy goal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a team talk going on there. What do you think is going on in that one? Because obviously the ambitions this season are for that 3rd spot. Manchester United are in the driving seat. They're the ones who are there at the moment. But, you know, Rhian Skinner's side have been building up to that, haven't they?
Yeah, and they had such a strong start to the season. It was always going to be really difficult to maintain that and those performances. But I think they can be proud. They can hold their heads up high. They've come a really long way from last season. And I think if you look at it realistically, the teams in and around them, who they're competing against for that 3rd spot, you know, they've been veterans of the league for a long time now. So yeah, I think they'll be disappointed.
They will be disappointed, but I tell you what, Manchester City, it's been a good day at the office for them. Farah, you picked out Caroline Weir pre-match to talk about as the one to watch, the one who gets into all the good positions in terms of getting on goal. And she had a chance with a free kick. She hit the post here, but she's the one who got on the end of the score sheet. It was scrappy, but it was much needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, a scrappy game, but one that I thought, you know, Caroline Weir's a player in games that are so tight when you know, creating space. She'll be a player that'll be able to do that. The free kick was fantastic, but her goal, we highlighted her timing into the box, and you know, as Lucy Bond's carrying the ball up the pitch, she times her run to perfection. She makes the defender feel like she's marking her, so it puts her into that full sense of security, and it just works off the back shoulder. So when Spence parries the ball, she's able to just pounce on it. So it's her time. You can see, look, the defender here, just a little bit of full security, making her think she's aware of where she is. And it's when the cross comes in and Spence fumbles it, is when she works off the back shoulder here and times it to perfection and just puts it in the back of the net.
She just arrives at the right time, doesn't she? Every single time she knows when to arrive into that box. And, you know, the parry into Percival, she couldn't do anything about that. And unfortunately, it's just a really scrappy goal from a Tottenham point of view.
Yeah, but, you know, it could have actually been more than 1-0, because Becky Spencer was called into action quite a few times, wasn't she?
She was, and she's fantastic. You know, she didn't have a lot of work to do in the first half, but she made a fantastic save late on at the back post. Really quick feet, but yeah, really scrappy. They'll be disappointed.
Okay, well, we can hear from Georgia Stanway now. She was the player of the match. She is with Betty Glover.
Georgia, congratulations on player of the match. How do you feel?
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good. I think we just had to grind out today and try and get the 3 points, and that's what we've done. We can't play the blame game, but the pitch and the conditions are kind of affected us today, but we battled through and we managed to get the 3 points, and scrappy goal, but they don't count.
they all count. What did the boss say to you at half-time? Because the second half, you really upped the ante.
Yeah, we just slightly changed our tactics of how we wanted to get out from the back, and just kind of finding the free player, having that final composure in that final third, and just bringing the control. And obviously it worked in the end, but yeah, this is still a massive game that we need to learn from, and going forward we need to try and create and obviously try and put away chances that we've created.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take this.
Okay, that was Georgia Stanway. We've got her boss here, Gareth Taylor. Good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Given, you know, how difficult the start to the season was for you, that you are playing catch up, but you're back in form. You won the League Cup last weekend. In terms of the context of your season and what you're trying to achieve, how big was this victory today?
Oh, it's a big victory. You know, we're more than capable of going on a run, which we've done previously, and we've got 7 remaining games now. This was an important one to edge back on a team that's in and around us. We did that with United as well, so we've just given ourselves a good chance. I didn't think the game was particularly pretty, and the goal probably summed it up.
Doesn't have to be though, does it?
Doesn't have to be, no. And I said to the girls beforehand, like, if we need to win ugly today, but that was pretty ugly, but it's still effective in what we did. Clean sheet, Tottenham having a good season as well, so we're really pleased.
Yeah, I've got to ask you about Ellie Roebuck. I mean, of course, she had that injury, that clash with Ash Neville. She remained on the pitch and taken off later on. Just want to ask you, what are the protocols that your medical team will follow in a circumstance like that?
Yeah, well, I think they just go on and check with the player, and once they have a conversation with the player and they do all of their checks, when there is a concussion issue, it's really important that we don't take any risks. So we made the decision that she would have to come off, and that was that, and Chiara came on.
Okay, so in terms of the games that are remaining, this is an important run of fixtures. No, we were talking about it off air, weren't we, Jenna and Farah, that we were saying that you've got a run of some sort of winnable games.
Yeah, they all look easy on paper, don't they? But I've always said the game's not won on paper. I think it's there's teams that are either competing to stay in the league, trying to break in and get higher as they possibly can, or teams like us who are trying to push on and claw back a little bit of ground that we've lost previously. So yeah, it's they may look like simple games, but I think especially we play Wednesday, we play weekend again, FA Cup, we then play Everton again in the league, so it's pretty full on.
Your team showed a different way of winning today. We're not used to seeing a Manchester City team win, as you mentioned, ugly today. Was that something you said at half-time? It was more about getting the points with the conditions of the pitch. Was it more about the 3 points and coming away with the 3 points today?
I think the pitch isn't great. I think especially in the penalty area. So obviously we'd like to build from the back, and we knew we'd have to probably adapt a little bit in that situation. Half-time was more around, I felt like we were playing too central. I felt like the space was on wide, the space was in behind. We've got two real, I mean, even with bringing Jess and Janine onto the pitch, on top of Hayley and Lauren, you've got like real pace in there. So we needed to use that a little bit more. So we just tweaked a few things and did it slightly better in the second half, and just about did enough to win the game.
You did.
And that's the most important thing, isn't it? Gareth, great to talk to you today. Great to see you. Safe travels back up north as well, and well done on the 3 points.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, well, it was a job done for Gareth Taylor and his Manchester City side there. For Tottenham, obviously it's commiserations for them. I'm looking at you, Jenna, for that one. But that race for that top 3 is just hot. It's hotting up every single game. Tottenham had a little setback today, but for Manchester City, certainly they are well in it. But Manchester United are the ones in the driving seat. We're back with more WSL action in a fortnight's time with the North London derby. Tottenham back in action at the Emirates for that one. But for now, it's goodbye from the Hive from us. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City. Both sides have their eyes on a top 3 finish, which would, of course, mean European football.
Stanway decides to go for it. Caroline Weir. Brasso takes a shot. Again, a fantastic save. With the ball into the box, Neville's there too. Brasso crosses it. Another great save. On the rebound, Caroline Weir gets another goal for the Blues.